Happy 4th of July. Last week, we discovered that the Weber Searwood doesn't have the same smoky charcoal flavor as doing smoke fried wings on the Kamado Joe. Goddamn charcoal, more smoke flavor. We're gonna try to recreate that smoky flavor. We already had an idea of several things we could try, and we had some comments and even some emails suggesting that we start with charcoal pellets. So we're gonna try that today and see how it turns out. Hopefully we get that charcoal smoky flavor. Let's go get it done.
Deep basement.
All right, so we're here with the Weber Searwood and we're gonna put the Royal Oak Charcoal Pellets inside. I do already have a whole bunch of pellets in there. They're the Weber branded Smoke Masters blend, so I gotta go get those out. Luckily, we've got our trusty Home Depot bucket, and thank you to Weber for making this much easier than it used to be to get the pellets out. I'm just gonna put the bucket underneath and pull this thing right here, and then just push the pellets out. Now there are gonna be a few pellets left in there. I'm not gonna get all of them out, but what I'm gonna do is let this thing burn for maybe 15 minutes to make sure that I've got all of the wood pellets burned before the charcoal pellets start going in, and that's when we'll throw our wings on. So I'll cut this guy open here and go ahead and pour them in. They have a very interesting look, I must say. I'm not gonna pour them all in because I don't know. I'm gonna be doing a whole rack of ribs, actually like 4 racks of ribs tomorrow for the 4th of July. And I don't yet know whether or not I'm gonna wanna use these charcoal pellets. So I'm not gonna fill up the hopper, but look at that. They look very interesting. I wanna take a sniff of one of these. Doesn't smell like anything. So I'm gonna turn it on, set it to 400 degrees. We'll be back once the wings are ready to go on. So we got the Searwood going. As I said, we're gonna wait about 10 or 15 minutes for all the wood pellets to burn up and the charcoal pellets to start hitting the firebox. But a couple things I wanted to point out on this bag here. It says burns hotter. Now that shouldn't matter because the temperature controller is going to adjust the amount of pellets that go in to the burn box according to what the current temperature is. So I don't really know what that's gonna mean. Authentic barbecue, that's just marketing. No fillers, okay, that's good. But then over here, water resistant. So what does that mean? I can store this thing out in a rainstorm without covering it? I'm not really sure I would do that anyway, so who cares? No more clogs. Now, so far I haven't had any clogs, so I'm not sure what that means, but I guess it's all good. All right, quick update before we put the wings on. We were playing cornhole and I noticed that there was no smoke coming out of this, which is very unusual. I'm used to, with the Weber pellets, we would see smoke billowing out of the Searwood. No smoke whatsoever. A little bit odd, so we turned it down to smoke boost to see if we could get some smoke coming out of this thing. You can definitely smell the charcoal sort of flavor, if you will, but I'm still used to seeing more smoke. So I was already skeptical, and now I'm really skeptical. When we crank it back to 400 to do those smoke fried wings, are we gonna be able to get that smoke flavor? But let's take a quick look at what's going on in here. So there is some smoke coming out. Smells charcoal-y, which is good. But again, I'm pretty skeptical right now if we're gonna get anything close to what we would get on something like a Kamado Joe with the lump charcoal firing up. But we're gonna turn this back up to 400 and just go with it, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, see, now that's what I'm talking about. That smells like charcoal right there. It's like you have to transition. Okay, so we went down to 180, as I mentioned. I said I was gonna crank it to 400, which I did, and now it's billowing. Now it's billowing smoke. This is what I'm used to. If we have to continuously go up and down in order to get actual smoke, this isn't gonna work. You know what I mean? Hopefully it stays like this for, once we actually put the wings in there, because otherwise, how are we gonna get that smoky charcoal flavor? We'll find out. All right, so we're at 400. Honestly, to get from 180 to 400 took no time at all. which is kind of cool. That might have something to do with these charcoal pellets. We're gonna go ahead and pop the drums on. I'm not gonna go through all the steps to get the smoke fried wings done. We did that last week. Click up here to see it. But we're gonna start with the drums as always in one of the baskets, and we're off and running. And we're good to go. Oh, I just caught a whiff of that smoke, that charcoal smoke. Okay, so here we are an hour and a half in, and I wanna say that when we had this thing at a constant temperature, we didn't see a lot of smoke, as I mentioned earlier. We just increased this to 500 degrees, and there is a mountain of smoke coming out of this thing. And when we look at the wings now, they are crackling. And we can smell that charcoal flavor. But the point being is, I think charcoal needs to burn hot. I think if you're gonna do low and slow and expect that these Royal Oak Charcoal Pellets are gonna give you that extra smoke flavor, it's not gonna happen if you're doing ribs or brisket or anything that you wanna do low and slow. They produce when it's hot, because we didn't have any smoke like this earlier when we were even at 400 degrees. Now that we're up to 500 degrees, this thing is blowing smoke. So we blasted this to 500 like we did with the regular pellets. And I gotta say that those drums, which went on 30 minutes earlier, they look like they might be overdone. Very, very crispy. I would say the flats look almost perfect. We might have a little difficulty with these drums. All right, we're gonna pull these. Hopefully I can just pop this off. It's super hot. Whew. Man, it's hot. Watch out, watch out. Oh my God, it's going through the silicone gloves, it's so hot. They say that this charcoal burns hotter, but you would think that the regulator, wouldn't care about that. I mean, 500 degrees is 500 degrees, right? So I don't know how that works exactly, but these are super crackling. It almost looks like fried pork rinds at this point, which, by the way, last week, if you watched our episode, Bob convinced me on these quote unquote forever tongs. So I went ahead and picked up a pair. I think they were $29 on Amazon. Highly recommended. Look at that, very precision. So one other thing to mention, one thing we noticed, the auger was making a lot of noises. So when I usually use either Bear Mountain or Weber pellets, I don't hear a lot of auger noise. I heard a lot of auger noise like it was cranking. Is that the right word? Like, what's a good word for that, Donnie? It was like the auger was struggling to push the pellets through and making like a creaking sound. So I don't know exactly what that means. It might be nothing, but I did notice that some of those pellets are longer than the pellets I'm used to from either Bear Mountain or Weber. Obviously, you don't want the auger to go out or the auger motor, because that would be a problem. If we don't have that charcoal smoke flavor on these wings, then I'm gonna recommend against these pellets, but we will find out shortly. All right, we're good to go. Almost dropped a soldier, but we're good. We'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, so here we have it. I'm gonna choose a flat to start. I'm praying and I'm hoping for charcoal flavor on this guy. More charcoal flavor than the wood pellets, 100%. More smoke flavor than the regular wood pellets. I will say that. It's not to the level of the Kamado, but man, it's good, Donnie. It is good. You gotta start low and then increase the temperature, and then you're gonna get a ton of smoke. So I think we can improve on this, but I gotta tell you, man, that's good. I'm even mixing this new wing with my old bones. Man, it's good. I'm starting to change my tune the more I eat. I'm tasting more charcoal. This is really, really, really good. Okay, we gotta try a drum because they seemed a little overcooked. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend these charcoal pellets. I was very skeptical in the beginning, I gotta be honest, but you gotta do it. And I'm not, a shill for, what is that, Kingsford? I'm not a shill for Kingsford, nor Weber, don't care, completely agnostic. But this is the way to go if you want charcoal flavor. It's not gonna be like burning wood on an actual charcoal grill, but this is the closest that I've had it ever since. Man, that's good. Super money. Super money, 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 money. We had a comment saying take a shot every time they say money. But that is a sure way to alcoholism, but it doesn't matter. These are super money. I'm in heaven right now. We'll see you next time.
Basement.